an opponent has decided that we're taking over. An army of one is not good against sacrifice effects, let me tell you that. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back. I'm Supreme Verdicts, a practicing attorney by day and a magic strategist by night. After a long day of working on the rule of law, I come home to master the laws of magic. Today, we are playing a Gonti Lord of Luxury Brawl deck. Gonti is a 4-mana, 2/3 Death Touch that when he enters, we look at the top 4 cards of target opponent's library. Exile one of them face down and put the rest on the bottom of that library in a random order. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. That's right, the original version of this card, where the term Gontiing someone came from. We've now had multiple iterations of Gonti, adding in different colors here and there, very villainous wealth up in here. Notably with Gonti, you cannot play lands, that is important to keep in mind. And Gonti traditionally can be played in kind of a control shell where you have just a good 4-drop. It's good in the early game as a blocker, it's good at parity, you get some card advantage, it's good in the late game. You might find a board wipe off of your opponent, and again, a death touch blocker. It comes in handy. But we do a lot of mono black control on this channel as well as control in general, so I decided to pick a different archetype that I have enjoyed in the past and that I thought would be fun. Namely, we're going to be playing Gonti Scam. That's right, the Scam archetype from Modern, as well as just its bled into other things such as Timeless, is effectively kind of a flicker archetype, which is one of the reasons I like, traditionally with Grief. A creature that you can evoke by exiling a black card from your hand to have it enter the battlefield, take a card out of your opponent's hand, make them discard it, but because it was evoked, it will then sacrifice itself when it enters the battlefield. So you have a variety of cards such as Bailout, Feign Death, Kaya's Ghost Form, not actually Kaya's Ghost Form, but similar cards, Not Dead After All. Cards that have the text, until end of turn, target creature you control gains, when it dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control, and usually with some benefit like a +1/+1 counter or something, as an Undying Malice. The traditional deck would just have Grief, where you would turn 1, cast Grief by exiling another spell, and then use your first land drop. Grief was, of course, cast for free. Take advantage of Grief's sacrifice trigger to actually scam it back onto the battlefield. It dies, it comes back immediately, and you got a free 3/2 menace, and your opponent had to discard 2 cards. This created a low resource game where you are then able to attack into your opponent very aggressively early on. Gonti, I thought, could be a lot of fun by taking advantage of the Scam archetype in black in order to take advantage of Gonti's ability of continuously and repeatedly getting cards from our opponent's deck. And notably, relying on the fact that in Brawl, our opponent's decks are chock full of removal. Yes, there's exile removal too, but sometimes just destroy removal. And if we can hold up a couple scam cards, we can then use Gonti. Those who've tried to play a Scam archetype know that it can be very difficult to pull off. A lot of these cards are not particularly good outside of Maliki Rebirth, which happens to also be a land, on their own, so you really need to have your deck take advantage of it. The best way to do that is to, of course, have creatures that self-sacrifice. You could go with an Aristocrats theme, and I tried that at first, but it's too hard to get so many pieces all together, so instead, focusing on creatures that are going to sacrifice themselves when they enter the battlefield allows you to scam your opponent in order to then make sure that you are getting back that enter the battlefield trigger. We do have a Phyrexian Tower as well in the mana base to allow ourselves to sacrifice our own creatures if we need to for value, in the event an opponent points the swords to plowshares, and we'd rather throw that into the graveyard for our mono black deck to recur at a later point, or so that we could scam it in the moment. So this deck relies on having self-sacrificing creatures as part of its removal suite, so that we can get our opponent to just continuously be sacrificing their creatures, getting them into a low board state. That way we can rely on Gonti's card advantage, as well as our general good black enter the battlefield triggers, as well as just good recursion type creatures, so that we can continuously press our opponent into the late game, where we then have our top end cards to finish things off with recursion machines, as well as just big beaters that also happen to make them sacrifice. We're going to see how this deck plays out. It is a Scam deck, which is a unique form of this archetype and one that I really enjoy, and we'll see whether or not we can scam our way through the Brawl queue. Alright, can we try our hand against an aggro deck? Whenever lightning deals combat damage to a player, Until your next turn, if a source would deal damage to that player or permanent that player controls, it deals double that damage instead. 3/2 first strike trample lifelink. Sheoldred's Edict's not going to be able to deal with much, but the Inquisition of Kozilek might be helpful. Is this too slow? We have Death Touchers. We have Death Touchers, we have some removal. Nice. They don't play anything. Is that burn? A source would deal damage. So they might just be a burn deck. Wow. Thalia's rough. Burn, Burst Lightning 2 whenever it deals combat damage. I guess we get rid of Voice of Victory so we can still remove stuff. Thalia's annoying as anything, but at least it also has First Strike, so it does not synergize as well with Lightning. And it makes their Burst Lightning a bit worse as well. Yeah. We'll drop the Dark Confidant here. They can kill it if they want to. We actually don't necessarily want it around. It is a little bit of a liability life-wise. Unless it draws us some lands, that'd be nice. Yeah. Ow. Goodness. Oh, goodness. Alright. We can do the trick. That's funny. I guess we gotta scam, you know? If we're going to scam, we've gotta do it. We gotta do it right. Liliana is a good threat for them overall. They will just kill her. So I think... And we can't get rid of the Grief Action, or the Cold Steel Heart. I think here in that case... Is it Sheoldred's Edict? There's no way. Because these are the same card. It's just that this is one cheaper. We're going to go ahead and evoke this. Yeah, this is about to hurt. We'll drop the Liliana. We're doing the thing. We're doing the thing. Gotta make sure full control's on. Just in case. Now when it dies, we scam it back, and there goes opponent's entire hand. Unfortunately, we're pretty dead. Thankfully, they do just have 2 first strikers, so we're just taking 5 here. I think that's no blocks. And now if they have a burn spell, it deals the double damage. No, just a Skrelv. Protection. Thank God. Oh my lord. Ooh. I kind of like that. We make them discard and... Or we just play Sheoldred. And I don't think Sheoldred can get by the... Lightning can't get by the Sheoldred currently. So we're going to do that. We're going to drop Sheoldred. We are going to attack. We've got to start hitting them down at some point. Pray they don't draw anything particularly relevant. Oh, Skrelv can give Lightning... Okay, they drew top deck the nuts. We're kind of board wiper bust at this point. That was a misplay though. Skrelv can also give hexproof from the color and make it unblockable by that color. Thank you, Dark Confidant. Wow, this is rough. Alright, let's go ahead and Gonti. We can multi-block Lightning. At this point we have to. We're gonna get Boros Charm, I guess. Permanents you control get indestructible or target creature. Sure. Definitely don't want them to have Boros Charm. No attacks. We're gonna just multi-block Lightning at this point. It's too annoying. Yeah, they've got something else. They give it protection from black. That's unfortunate, but we can block everything else. And that's just how we're gonna get through this a bit by bit. I don't know if they realized we were very willing to just trade off everything. Yeah, so Skyclave will kill Gonti, but that's alright. We will move it to the command zone. We don't have any recursion currently in hand. Nice. Oh, beautiful. Now we're gonna start removing things. Let's attack first. Is this greedy? First strike, trample, lifelink, but they don't have haste. They might have a way to give haste. So I think we'll go ahead and... yeah, let's just do this. Each opponent sacrifices a non-creature, non-token creature. I think we get rid of Bob at this point. He done well for us. Pay 1 life is scary text to see on a card right now. Opponent's got something in hand. So we're definitely going to pay it, make them get rid of whatever they have. No snow land, so I think we can drop the snow swamp. They might play Redain. I doubt it, but they might. We manifest Dread. We'll take it. We will absolutely take it. Especially because we can flip Overlord of the Bailmerk. Yeah. We'll pay the 1 life. Discard a card. Submit. Sack a creature. Bye, Bob. Rankle gains us 2 life. Oh, perfect. Worth the 1 life. Now we just need a removal spell. We desperately need a removal spell. Swiftfoot Boots is terrifying. We don't have a sack creature. Can I... oh, I guess we do have this. That's funny. The haste is indeed rough. Okay, let's go ahead and play the land. We can flip this for 5. In which case... right? Yeah, we can flip it for 5. We'll have 2 mana left, which doesn't do a ton here. We can get back Bob. I don't think that's particularly worth it. We can play out Gonti, and we won't have the mana for anything else. So I think this is going to be a flip, attack with Overlord to get back something? To get back what, Grief? No. We need to hold this up so that we can give a creature double strike. Slash, we can just block that. Okay. We are going to attack with Rankle. We could play this out for 7, which is actually better. Now we just have an 8/5 and a 2/2 in case they top deck the removal spell. But if they top deck the removal spell, they won't be able to cast Lightning, and that's okay too. We're slowly getting the squeeze in. Human, nice, uncounterable, great. Go ahead, give it hexproof and haste. Are you going to attack into my 8/5? I didn't think so. We'll go ahead and bring Grief back. I know. But now Grief is an 8/2, and that's kind of good too. Let's go ahead and play Gonti. An opponent has decided that we're taking over. An army of 1 is not good against sacrifice effects, let me tell you that. Liking and commenting on this video is not a scam, I can promise you that much. That being said, Obira Dreaming Duelist, we're probably going to have to do a little scamming here, at least around the counterspells. Oh yeah, of course we have just some generic good card draw creatures. Now, this is not a busted hand. An opponent's going to be pressuring our life total, which makes me not like Dark Confidant as much as I might normally. That being said, if we can draw some lands, we could have a really good creature curve here that can just put the aggression onto our opponent. Especially noteworthy that it is unlikely that our opponent will be able to counter Dark Confidant. Great, love to see it. We're going to go ahead and see if we can top deck that land drop. We have Bogger Trawler here, though, as a backup if we need to. Brutal. Also brutal. Let's see, 2 mana up. That is most likely going to be a counterspell. We can Cackling Observer here. I think that might be our best move. Let's go ahead. Ah, yes, that's right. They can flash in Obira. We're not going to attack. Let's pay the life. Rather than have them flash in their commander, if they'd like to counter this, that's no problem. Perfect. Oh, exiling is brutal. We can't get that back later. However, by getting them to use their counterspell there, sad, they do have another removal spell. It stops them from spending a removal spell on Dark Confidant, although they had the perfect follow-up, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and start off with City Stalker Connoisseur. Mostly because if we can get a Shieldra down and then protect her with Kaya's Ghost Form, I think that's going to be our best bet moving forward. Kaya's Ghost Form is enchant creature or planeswalker you control. When it dies or is put into exile, return it to the battlefield under your control. We're going to go ahead and drop this Perforator Crocodile. I don't think that is going to come up. Curious Obsession. Interesting. So they use Obira, it looks like, as just a card advantage engine, and then have a variety of control spells and counter magic. Let's go ahead and attack. Get rid of this Liliana. Only we get to make you discard, opponent. And I think... I don't want them to counter Shieldred. I would like to play the Solar Transformer. That way we have more mana next turn, because I don't like that we're missing our land drop. I'm also happy to discard something for the Blood Token if we could guarantee our land drop. So I think we're going to go with Gonti. If they counter it, that's fine. It's still in our command zone. Perfect. Yes, we'll take that action. Fortunately, opponent did get to double spell, but that's okay. They have some kind of, aura that lets them draw a card. Let's see if they want to cast anything else. This is an interesting build for their deck. I like this. Vendilion Click. They're going to make us choose a card, and we'll get to draw a card. So, opponent will likely get rid of Breach or Shieldred. But we will get to hit our land drop. Yeah, they got rid of the Shieldred. That's alright. I think we Kaya's Ghost form City Stalker Connoisseur here then. Just to get it out of our hand onto the battlefield. That'll help us with Nykthos mana. Let's see if opponent wants to take that trade. I didn't think so. How much is this? Ward 1. Well, we wouldn't be able to do that then. Again, where we're between mana and slowing our opponent down, let's go ahead and just knock this out while they do not have the ability to counterspell it. We don't want specifically the combat research, which allows them to draw cards to be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's fine. I think at this point, we're going to blood away our Solar Transformer, because another land drop just lets us cast Gonti. Great. We'll go ahead and attack first. Notably, in a blue deck, they will have some kind of bounce spells. Interesting. We could get back to our Confidant. They're planning on just flashing back out Obira here, aren't they? Yeah, in which case, let's Gonti. Let's try to get a counterspell. Never mind. That's the issue with having a flash creature like that. That is rough. I think we're going to put Gonti back into the command zone. Yes. We're getting out the counterspells, though, notably. They've now used... Oh, Reject only works on creatures. But as long as we're running them out of counterspells, they can't counter our Breach. Alright, we do have to go for it, though. We're running out of time. We're at 9 life. Oh, opponent is just dancing around us. They have had the counterspell every step of the way. This is indeed brutal. Alright, next turn we'll at least get to wipe their board, but we are still currently at 6 life. We won't get to wipe their board. Yeah, ow. I should have attacked first with City Stalker Connoisseur, because then we could have just gone with that. Yeah, that's what we expected. Let's go ahead. We're going to sacrifice a non-token creature. Get rid of the City Stalker. Urtai enters. We lose the game. That's rough. That is rough. was really enjoying playing against an aggro deck. What's this Teferi doing over here? Just a control deck? I like Sheldred's Edict here, but we need something that goes under them, especially because our opponent goes first. There is good value in this hand. We can cycle. There we go. Duress is nice. Card draw. That can be helpful. Opponent. Fetch lands in your mono blue deck? You must be playing Mystic Sanctuary. Wow. Some gross stuff. Loses all abilities. That's annoying. Imprisoned in the Moon. Wash Away. Mind Stone. Negate. You know what? They don't have a ton of lands. If we drop this Mind Stone, they don't have really any way to draw cards outside of their turn. So we're going to get rid of the Mind Stone. Their turn 2 play is going to be to hold up Negate. So our turn 2 play will be a Caustic Bronco. Unless they, of course, draw the nuts again. It seems to happen to my opponents with some amount of frequency. Oh, they hit the land drop. They can Imprison in the Moon and ramp us, or more likely they'll Amphibian Downpour to make this lose its abilities. In which case, then we have an open spot to Mind Stone. They choose not to. Notably, our scam effects are way worse here than they would be in another situation. Yeah, I don't think we can Kai's Ghost Form in order to get them to do it well. I don't think we play into their Negate here. Or do we, so that they definitely don't Downpour? I mean, what are we scared of for their Negate? Nothing, right? So we just pass. They didn't use Wash Away. They didn't use Negate. They didn't use Downpour. This would be a good situation if we had a sacrifice effect like a Village Rites, in addition to our Undying Malice. Fortunately, that's just not the case at the moment. I think what we're going to do here... Now, opponents got, we know, Wash Away and Negate up. They could go for either of them. I think what we want to do is just cast Gonti. Or we Iron Crag into Mind Stone. Or Mind Stone into Iron Crag. Let's go for it. Ramp, ramp, ramp. Nice. We could Kai's Ghost Form this right now to fully just use our mana. Let's see if opponent will let us. I think that's fine, because it's not getting any better, especially with Imprisoned in the Moon. This way, with the layer, this will now have the ability. It's why we didn't cast it last turn. Now they would have to use Imprisoned in the Moon in order to stop it from coming back. The Caustic Bronco, even though it doesn't have any abilities removed, it should still have it such that it can, when it dies or is put into exile, it's returned. So when we play our Plaguecrafter... Oh, we don't even need Plaguecrafter. Let's bait out the Gonti. Or do we start with Dark Confidant? What would we rather have? I think we'd rather attack first. Because opponent might just hardcast Wash Away here. I'd rather them use up their mana. And this way we'll see. If they have a different counterspell for Dark Confidant, we know that they will still have the mana up for Wash Away. There we go. That is unfortunate, but that's okay. Now what we could do is Plaguecrafter. And I think that's fine. They'll bait out the Teferi. And then we have the Undying Malice. We also should be getting the Caustic Bronco back. They discard a card. Would they discard a Ghost Quarter? That's fine. Now, if they want to use Imprisoned in the Moon, that's okay here. They do hit the land drop for the Teferi. Plaguecrafter's out. They should be feeling safe. That's what we want them to do, is feel safe. They Imprisoned in the Moon. Ramp. Excellent. Let's go ahead. Get our Dark Confidant down. Attack. And let's feed into the Wash Away. Are they going to cast it? Oh my god, they had Wash Away? What? But we have so much mana, we can just recast our commander next turn. And they're down to 3 cards in hand. Demo Field is sad. They can get rid of our Caustic Bronco. We will get... Interesting. -2. Fair. We're going to draw a card. Wow. That Liliana is quite the draw. And they know it. Because now we don't have to even... Alright, here's the plan. Originally, we were going to use Damnation plus Undying Malice to make Plaguecrafter come back and force them to sacrifice a Teferi, because this will come back when things die. Then the next turn we would Gonti to try to get ahead on cards, avoiding the negate. They only have 1 mana up. They can't cast negate on this turn. They drop their protection a bit. That's one of the reasons why early on we removed their Mind Stone, so that they'd be a little bit more mana starved and not be able to cast as many counterspells as they might have. So that plan actually came to fruition, that tactic we used. By drawing the Liliana here, which we would have drawn regardless, but Dark Confidant, thankfully, has been very helpful so far, we can instead make them sacrifice their Spirit Token and then just attack and destroy the Teferi, saving our Damnation Undying Malice plan for the next time that they recast it, forcing them into an even tighter spot in terms of resources. Good game, opponent. We've got Yorion up here. Chrome Mox is great because it lets us ramp out Gonti a little faster. Oh, I like our removal spells, but we're not really doing anything considering we're going first. There's no way for us to take advantage of this. I think we're going to have to mulligan that for a little bit of a stronger hand. Here we go. This allows a turn 2 Gonti, and that's pretty strong. Yeah, opponent's not going to be ready for it. And maybe we can get some counterspell protection, which is always fun. The Snow Swamps, by the way, are in here because we can take cards from the top of our opponent's library. And that does indeed come up where sometimes we get something that cares about snow permanence. Ooh, I think Loran's gonna... Actually, Flicker of Fate just lets the party keep going. That's kind of fun. Yeah, let's grab Flicker. I forgot we're playing up against a Flicker deck. This is perfect. This is just what we want. We'll throw down Nykthos into an Arcane Signet. Wait for our opponent to try to kill Gonti, and we can Flicker it. Better yet, let's just do this now. Let's see what else we can hit. I'm impatient. I want good stuff. Oh, beautiful. Value engine here. Reveals each non-land card in their hand. You choose one of them, perpetually gains. Each opponent draws a card, and you gain 3 life. That's cool. Let's attack. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. We could get down Cavalier of Night, but we would much rather, I think, just Teleportation Circle our Gonti. We're going to get some good cards off of our opponent. Overlord of the Flood Pits is not bad at all. Return it under its owner's control. So whatever we get, we do not want to be... And then, for as long as... Yes. But when the battle is removed, exile it, then cast it transformed. We get to cast it transformed, though. That's good. I don't think that matters as much. And I don't know if we can cast this for its impending cost. I do think that this might be worth it, though. Oh, okay, good. I grabbed the right one. Recruiter of the Guard. Tutoring up a Solitude, maybe? That way they can just kill Gonti and not have to deal with it anymore. Aether Chandler, they're going to use this to bounce the teleportation circle to get it back to their hand. That's very nice, opponent. That's very nice. That is going to be frustrating, to say the least. I'm not sure what we could tutor for here that might be able to stop our opponent from doing these kinds of crazy things. Liliana's not particularly bad, of course. Neither is Breach. We're not really at that level of mana quite yet. So I guess here... Can I impend this? Oh, actually, that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and impend it. Nice. We can still impend it for any kind of color spell. We'll get rid of that swamp. Let's go ahead and lily them. Make them sack a creature. Slow them down a bit, at least. Because next turn they Yorion.
When I win, you're telling me what... Haven't you ever heard of person?
So I think we're just going to grief here as well. Evoking out with the Cavalier of Night. Gets them a little bit of value. We don't really want that. And let's ditch the teleportation circle. I don't want them to be able to flicker at all. Now, of course, they have various spells that can do that. But still.
Luck favors the foolish.
Yeah, we're not doing well. We're in a low resource situation, and our opponent is about to Yorion. And they're going to bounce back the Overlord of the Flood Pits. Yeah, this is not a great matchup for us. It's fun because we get cool spells off of them, but they are just able to continuously draw cards effectively by taking what we take. And we'll go ahead, sacrifice this. Let's move it to the command zone. Because unfortunately, that is what we got. So we'll let opponent decide what good cards we should have. They cycle. That's all well and good. I'm hoping our Breach of the Multiverse will hit one of our bigger planeswalkers. Maybe grab something juicy from the opponent. Yeah, they're smart and just continue on to ramp. Okay, and they're going to exile Yorion. There we go. So they can flicker everything once again. Comes back. Now, we could have blocked with the Hive. I don't think it's helpful. What are you going to pick, opponent? It doesn't actually matter. Oh my goodness. Such an obnoxious deck, Yorion. God, could you imagine anyone playing a Flicker deck? The real audacity of it all. Let's Breach. Just wondering if they have the counter spell or not. I think Speedbrood Stalker's pretty fun. And so is Overlord of the Mistmoors. I like Baelmerk, because then we can get back the other stuff, but I think we gotta go with Stalker here. So with Speedbrood Stalker, you choose a creature, and then your opponent chooses a creature, and then they sacrifice their chosen. Yeah, they knew. I found that the trick is to just pick what you think needs to come off of the battlefield, and that is certainly Aether Chandler here, because that's what's going to happen. Sometimes they overthink it, and they'll go for what is their biggest threat in their minds. It's really a question of what's the biggest threat. What do they have? Flood Pits, okay. They're going to draw some cards. Notably, they do have Lauren, which is an enchantment creature, or which can destroy enchantments. Wow. But they just go straight up for the Supreme Verdict. You know, it's a good card. I got to give it to them. It is a good card. Maybe I should have grabbed that when we saw it with Gonti for the brand. Oh my goodness, this is a rough game. I'm not sure how much longer we will be able to go on. That's fine. Let's go ahead. Bit by bit. Our opponent is still at 19. We are likely just absolutely demolished here. The control vice is just weakening and weakening. It doesn't matter as much at this point. Exile up to 1 when it leaves the battlefield. Okay, so I'd have to kill it after. I think we just gotta kill that. We'll get a 4/4 at least. Oi. That is not good. Maybe we should have Hive of the Eye Tyrant. I don't think it would have helped much. Idyllic Tutor. Is there an enchantment that could get us out of this? I guess Virtue? Sure. We can keep trying. Opponent has a Lauren that they can flicker. Had we known we were going to get Virtue, and that's it. I'm not seeing through a Time Walk. Oh, man. Loomer's a hard deck to play. We have a little ramp, we have a little removal, we have 2 scam cards without anything that can self-sacrifice. We're gonna mulligan. This hand is okay. We go first, so we can Solar Transformer into a Liliana to get rid of their elf. It might be too late. But we have Demon's Disciple Feign Death if we can get the lands for it. It just might be too late. Oh well, we go first. I think we'll try this. It's unfortunate, but we'll see if we can maybe somehow get ahead of... Oh god, Chrome Mox. Ramp decks are tough to beat, man. Especially when you're monocolored, ramp decks are tough to beat. They don't seem to have... That's funny. Colored mana. It's devoid. Can this... I think they messed up. I don't think Chrome Mox taps for mana. Add 1 mana of any of the exiled cards' colors, but Sowing Mycospawn is devoid, meaning it has no color. Oh, that's so funny. We take those. We take those. Good game. What's this? One of my favorite decks that does not have Lurrus Companion, though, so it's a fake. But that's okay. We have Fatal Push, Reanimate, Toxic Deluge, Fell the Profane. I guess we're playing the control. I guess we are the control deck here. Yeah, we'll take it. Opponent does not have a... Ah, gross. What do you take here? Fell the Profane to cut off my land drops, Reanimate, or Toxic Deluge? I guess Toxic Deluge, yeah. That deals with their board most cleanly. Now we're playing good fair Magic. That was going to be really rough. Eke them into a board wipe and then have backup removal spells for their next couple things cast. Yeah, they know if they cast Amalia here that she dies. I think we're just going to kill that. The commander's strong, but it just doesn't do anything if they don't have, whatchamacallit? If they don't have a way to gain life. At least that's what I've learned from this deck. That's also strong. I don't think I have Sorin in my Amalia deck. That's really funny. I definitely don't. Specifically, I think just because I just didn't play a ton with the Modern Horizons cards. Wow, that's brutal. Let's get rid of their Takenuma, if anything. We cannot, notably, we cannot cast any, or play any land cards. That's why it's not even showing up here as an option for us. It's only cast a spell. The question is, do they see that as a card? Because if they see that as empty, then it tells them that we whiffed. And that's kind of BS because it should be exiled. We don't want them to know. Okay. I like Sorin. Sorin's pretty cool. Let's attack. Let's go ahead and cut Soren down. Nice. And let's reanimate Soren. And play this out as a tap land. The reason why we're doing it this way is Shieldred is a very powerful card, and they still have a lot of cards in hand. I would love for them to use any removal they might have on the Soren. Wow. They're gonna grief me. Getting rid of Luris? That's your strongest card! We did get punished, though. Had we played out the Shieldred, we would have still had the reanimate in hand, and we would be on the board with a Shieldred versus a Soren, which doesn't do as much for us right now. No attacks. If you gain 3 or more life this turn. Ironically, Swamp gets us some good stuff. Yeah. Are they gonna try to hit 20? Is that the plan here? It looks as if they're just generic life gain. Which is fine. Solitude. Pitching their other card, which is a Giver of Runes? Oh my gosh. Opponent's greedy. Yeah, move to the command zone. That's fine. I don't think I should take 5 here. Or more than that, even. They're keeping... No, they've been an invasion. Bonan's a gamer. Yeah, we'll chump with Soren. That's a decent card. Yeah, I've heard good things about this card. Does opponent still want to play? They have 3 lands, no cards in hand. They gain some life. Opponent's still in it. Nice. They top deck the land they need for Amalia. Let's see what we can do. The fact that we whiffed with Gonti set us up poorly for this game to begin with. I think we're going to go again with Gonti. They are looking for a way to make us discard cards, it seems. I like the Witch Enchanter in order to get rid of the Case of the Uneaten Feast, but they currently don't have a way to gain life right now. So I think Reprieve is actually going to be stronger, although all their cards are so cheap. Let's grab the Witch Enchanter. This is a lot of value. If they can cast creature cards from their graveyard until the end of turn, they'll get back Soren. It'll be a little too much for us. We hold the Cackling Observer specifically that turn because it's only for non-land cards. Nice. That is good. That stops us from getting it back when we can breach. Ow. Alright, opponent. Ruin my plan. That's pretty good. And let's get back a Boromir? Boromir's not bad either. Return target creature with mana value. This gets us back Shieldred. That's kind of fun. Let's go ahead and... Actually, they can. So we'll go ahead and just -4, get Shieldred back. Look at that! We ended up with Shieldred anyway. The reason why we don't go for the +2 first is just because they can animate Hive of the Eye Tyrant, and then we're not going to be able to block both Amalia and the Hive because it has Menace. So we then just wouldn't be able to get Shieldred back regardless, or it would take too many turns. We'd rather get the value now, especially while opponent's on the back foot. We want to be pressing our advantage and making sure that we dominate the center of the board state. Good game. Loot the Pathfinder. Lightning Bolt on a stick. Unfortunately, it's got haste too, right? Yeah. Deal 3 damage to any target. Can get rid of most of our cards. We have the Overlord in hand, and I like this Mind Spike early on to remove their ramp piece. Hopefully that'll let Dark Confidant get ahead a bit in terms of cards. We'll have to watch our life total, though. I like Bob. I like Bob a lot. We have some high hitters in this deck. Tap enchanted creature, doesn't untap. That's fine. That's actually really bad. Because it's got the 5 mana untap. With enough mana, it's free vigilance. Notably, that was their only 2 non-creature, non-land cards. Are they a creature deck? Do you play loot with creatures? If I had Loot the Pathfinder, I guess it would be like a clones deck. Let's go for Bob. Card advantage, put the pressure on them. If they're a creature deck, they're going to have to figure out a way to remove this. Yeah, here we go. A random creature card among creatures in your... Huh. How do I want to deal with this? At the beginning of your first main phase, a random creature card with the greatest mana value gains this cost 1 less. I think we just kill it. Yeah, let's just kill it. And let's just play that tapped. Next turn we can Nykthos and Gonti, or Nykthos and Choop. Ravenous Choop. Thank you, Bob. Applying a little bit of pressure on our opponent. Rhythm of the Wild. They must have just drawn that in their second couple of turns. Oh, did that just hit us for 7? That just domed us for 7? Oh. Yeah, that's not good. Alright, we'll Gonti. We'll keep a Dark Confidant back. That way we can block. Counter target artifact, creature, or planeswalker spell. They got a 2/2. I don't know if we can spree because of the additional costs. So I think we have to go with Strix, which is unfortunate because a 2/2 bird at this point could actually be pretty awful for us. Play something with 2 toughness and then give it haste so we can block with Dark Confidant. Wow, there's 2 toughness. Oh no, it's a 3/3. Okay. That's not bad. We're at 10. We're at 10 and they're missing land drops. Let's press our advantage. I think here... Yeah, let's Shelly. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. Or they can make their dragon. We'll go ahead and play this. I think we're going to Overlord because this is at the beginning of our upkeep. Oh no, so it is mill. And then you may return. Shoot, that's my fault. I should have cut down in response. That's okay, we have Strix Serenade up if we need it. Could you hit some lands, please, Bob? This is gonna be rough. They do hit their 4th land. It's notable. By the way, the prototype card, specifically this is in here because if we use one of our scam cards, we cast it for 3. We use a scam card, it comes back as its 7 mana value version. I'm a huge fan of this. There was an Orzhov scam deck for a little bit in Standard before rotation happened. And that was a strategy to use with some of those. I could counter that. I don't think it's worth it. They get a land, they get some life. Yeah, just doesn't matter right now. I think we're gonna just get rid of Gonti. Yeah. Cutdown's not doing much against their monsters. Let's decline. Oh, that's not a land. Let's Caustic Bronco. And I'll get a little bit of extra mana. We'll play our Forge Fire Automaton. And I guess Kaya's Ghost Form onto the Automaton, because we might as well. Ideally, next turn we can saddle this and then hit another 7, gain a little bit of life. Or, sorry, we don't gain life, we just don't lose as much of the life. Yeah, they're in blue. If they have bounce spells, then the Kaya's Ghost Form doesn't help particularly much. That's the issue with scam decks. There are ways around it, namely exile spells and bounce spells. But it's fun. It's effectively nice. Auroral Procession in order to get back a land. They'll have loot next turn. I think it's a lot of fun. The whole point of it is you get to reuse some of your cards, you know? That's why there's so many sack effects to try to make it viable. Kitesail Larcenist. Let's counter, because what are they going to take? Yeah, they're going to just turn the Forge Fire Automaton into a treasure. Oh, can't be countered. It can't be countered because of Rhythm of the Wild. Reading the card explains the card. Yeah. Okay. And then it also gets haste. And, oh, we're down to 1. down to 1. Okay. This is fine. This is so fine. They're gonna get a double striking haste. Rhythm of the Wild is such an annoying card. We're gonna sacrifice that. I should have saddled first. That way we would have been able to have the blocker. That was a misplay. Oh, that's right, that comes back. That's kind of cool. Let's go ahead and saddle this. What gains a slice? What gains a life? I'm not sure. Let's drop that. Let's find something that gains us life. Virtue gains us life. Liliana is pretty good. You gain us life. Haha. There we go. Unfortunately, if opponent has a land drop here, and they do, that's game. Loot is going to come down with its haste ability and deal 3 damage to us immediately, which is rough. Bob is a good card. There you are. Bob is a good card. It's a scary card. We hit a 7 drop off of it, which was not great, as well as I don't think we hit a single land that game off of it. We saw last game, it really did its work, but here we just, that's not going to be the situation. Opponent's giving us a chance to block and gain life, and they saw the line. Good game. We're up against Kuja, which is going to be an all removal, effectively, deck, I'm sure. We have a Caustic Bronco, and if we can stick that, things go pretty well for us from there. I almost want to mulligan for better removal, but we have the Damnation too. They're going to have discard spells. It doesn't matter what kind of hand we keep, so we keep the ones with lands. And let's see if they have the removal immediately. No. Okay. If this can last a turn and draw us a card, it will have done a great job. But there it is. A Braid, Lightning Bolt, Fatal Push, Bitter Triumph. It's a good card, I hear. Discarding, what was it? Rockslide Sorcerer. Interesting. Okay. We'll go ahead and Thoughtseize. Okay, Cling to Dust is scary. If they know that we are a whatchamacallit, then they'll win. That being said, if they top deck a land, Black Market Connections just kind of will win them the game. So I think we're going to drop that, because that is too powerful of a card. Jet Medallion here, though, putting in some work. It looks like they are pure spellcasting with very few wizards. I've seen some more aggressive wizard builds, but that doesn't seem to be the case. What are they holding up? Cling to Dust? I guess. We're gonna Gonti. Are they gonna try to draw with Mind Stone? There's no way. Yeah. Draw a card. That's fine. Having that in the graveyard's a lot better. Wow! Opponent knows good gameplay. Look at this. Okay. Are you gonna deal damage? That's annoying, but I think that's okay. What do you want to take, right? Let's go. Another good card here. Question is, do we need to be aggressive? Probably, some capacity. But Gonti's a really good blocker, and Gonti is meant to be a good blocker. Kuja's a fairly aggressive deck. I think we need to run them into the ground a bit with cards. Yeah, they're gonna start making wizards. They know we have... Okay. Now, I wonder why they did that. I think what we want here is... Does this make... Yeah, I think this makes mana. Mana positive. At the very least, it's equal, so it doesn't matter that much. We'll go ahead and Not Dead After All onto Solemn and board wipe. We'll put Gonti back in the command zone. Draw our card. Ramp. Absolutely, I'd like to search for a basic land. Draw a card. Oh, beautiful. And we can then cast the ripples off of the floating mana. That's planning ahead. That's planning ahead right there. Oh no, they made us sacrifice our solemn simulacrum? I'll draw a card, I guess. Twist my arm. Oh, is that a Shieldred? Okay, if I have to, I'll get the Overlord, which, you know, will get me back the Shieldred. What am I doing? Let's go ahead, do this. We'll do that. We'll do this. I guess let's just cast it regularly. Screw it. Big chonky creature. Ooh, that's pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I count 6. Looks good to me.
I do hope you make. Let us march into battle and make new
7. Actually, I had an extra mana.
This is more enjoyable
Oh well.
than slaying demons.
Next turn, we can attack with Overlord, get back our Sheldred. Opponent is still missing land drop, or just hit another land drop, finally. It's not looking great for them. The Mystic's Mastery is very powerful, don't get me wrong. Once they get enough mana, that is going to hurt. And here they're going for it. There we go, to get rid of Liliana. And they're gonna, what, discard another card? Lose 3 life? That's fine. Oh no, she's back in our graveyard.
Death won't conquer me so
Oh no, I wonder what we'll do. This is rude. I love a good graveyard looping deck. That's one of the things I've really come to enjoy about Black. Okay, there we go. Grave Expectations, not bad. They get rid of everything except Solemn and Perforator Croc, which is good. We do have the Ripples of Undeath to continue to get us back some... Oh, it's 3 life each time? Probably shouldn't be doing this then. It's just not worth it. I mean, I did it already. If I cancel, I gain the life. Nice. Let's go ahead and Gonti. See what we hit. I should have strongholded first. That's okay. Murderous Rider. And a Tursa? I think we... Tursa. Tursa is pretty good. This does mill for us. Okay. Okay. Twist my arm. Let's attack. We'll go ahead and we'll grab Perforator. Love a big croc. Gotta start putting the pain to the opponent. We're at 17. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. I'm just nervous. After Bob last game, I'm a little scarred. This deck can drain your life a lot. Thank you, Ripples, for an enigmatic and poignant point there. Opponent seems to have quit. They have 1 card in hand. We were diddly-dallying quite a bit going for things. The idea with Tursa is that we can draw an attack and stuff, but I did want to see if we would hit anything better. Especially because I don't want to pre-combat to do everything. If they draw a board wipe, we are in trouble. I keep saying, It probably would have been a better move to Cabal Stronghold, Tursa, and then attack in. The issue, no, it would have been better to Cabal Stronghold to begin with in order to cast Gonti, see what we hit, cast Tursa, cast anything else, and then attack with Tursa and have up still 5 mana to use if she hits something good like Black Market Connections or even the Solar Transformer. The Solemn would have been incredible. However, that's not what I did because it's early in the morning and I'm on probably the last game and slowly getting ready, switching my mind over to get ready for work. So we're just kind of going at it. After all, opponent does not currently have what looks like to be a very good position. The Grave Expectations to get rid of our powerful cards, that does make their, their Mystic's Mastery into Bitter Triumph Flay a little bit better, but that was 7 total mana to kill a Planeswalker, a 6 mana Planeswalker, and remove a couple of potential future threats when it did nothing to actually solve the remainder of the board state. It just wasn't impactful enough. And Invoke Despair there would have accomplished almost the same thing, but for 5 mana. I would have chosen Zombie and I would have chosen Ripples for the enchantment, to be fair. To my opponent's credit. Let's go ahead and do it now, though. never know. Might draw something great. Oh, I have to discard first? Okay, whatever. I don't think it's gonna matter. And let's go ahead and put that there. That way, they really can't do too much. We'll hold that in hand. I don't think one wizard's gonna kill us. And something tells me that the opponent is just going to concede. Or better yet, they're gonna stay here. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I like playing Brawl. I like this Gonti deck a lot. Gonti and Commander is honestly even more fun. Just because in Brawl, like I said, Gonti's probably at its best in a control shell. But in Brawl, you can have any Planeswalker as your commander. So why play a Gonti deck when you can instead play Davriel or play Liliana and just not have any creatures at all in your deck save for Sheldred, which is just a busted ass creature. And so in that case, you can just play a higher level of control that your deck is more one-sided. All your board wipes never affect you. They only affect your opponents. But in Commander, there's less options like that if you want to go for a mono black control deck. Gonti becomes a wonderful option because you don't care so much if Gonti dies. If Gonti dies, you get to recast Gonti. And not to mention, all of your friends are playing these broken Commander cards, and Gonti lets you go into their deck and see what you want to find. One of the strongest things, though, to get with Gonti is, in fact, a counterspell. Getting that to back up your control plan is chef's kiss. And that was our Gonti scam list. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. It is a lot of fun when you're able to use some of the scam cards in a perfect way, when your opponent either points removal at it, when you yourself are board wiping to make it less one-sided. It can be a lot of fun. As you saw, the deck is also, of course, packed with various card advantage machines that you might find in black. These are helpful just to keep the deck going because we are a control deck and we're trying to get to these top-end cards. There are some fun, just generically good black cards in here as well. Sorry, Diabolic Intent is another fun way to sacrifice your creature so you can scam beforehand, then sacrifice it. That's why it's in the deck. There are some just generically good cards that draw you cards. Be careful with your life total. You're playing in black. You have a lot of things that say pay life in order to draw cards or do cool things. It will catch up with you eventually. We have Gary in the deck as well for that very reason, because we are a permanent-based control deck, so, things like Devotion for Gary and Nykthos do become more and more powerful. Nice little ramp suite to try to get Gonti a turn earlier, but also to hit some of our more impactful spells a little bit earlier. A fun thing to note is in the mana base, we do also, of course, do Urborg, and while there isn't actual Cabal coffers, we do have Cabal Stronghold, which, as you saw, can be very powerful to generate just tons and tons of mana to have some massive turns. I used to have Urza's Cave in the mana base, specifically because I thought the Cabal Stronghold Swamp combo it really pushed the deck over the edge, and I had a few ways to tutor up Cabal Stronghold. However, with Urza's Cave, the Urza's Construction Drone, which is honestly one of our better cards for Gontiing. It has so much value. When it enters, you can attack in with it, and it doesn't matter. And then when it dies, it seeks the card. Because of the scam ability, you can get pretty close to just getting to what you want with all three Urza lands fairly quickly. But it would accidentally tutor up Urza's Cave. And next thing I knew, because that is in fact an Urza land, I wasn't able to turn all my lands to double mana for these three, which got a little annoying in a couple of games, and once it happened twice, I decided enough was enough. In any case, I hope you enjoyed seeing Gonti sacrifice, Gonti scam, Gonti the Lord of Luxury, Gonti big mana black mid-range. However, there are more games to play, strategy to analyze, and unfortunately, work to do. I'm Supreme Verdicts. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Hey, you. Yeah, you. You should watch another video. Yeah, pick any of them. Pick a Brawl deck. There's a few of them. Going into some mono black decks this year, and I've been enjoying the range that can give me. You can watch a standard deck if you want. There's a couple of those, or any limited gameplay. I try my best to play as much limited as I can these days, just to shore up on my skills. I even have some theory videos if that's the part that you like. Regardless, pick a video. Have a good time.